Did you just see that? Did you just read it? Back in 2019, this classic restoration shop went up on their prices to $140 an hour. Says that you can buy 100-hour blocks of prepaid labor. So 100 times 140, that's $14,000. $14,000. This is an example of automotive shops that think their name is Boyd Coddington and Chip Foose and they've been watching too much TV. Let's go to the ways to pay. Okay, it says here, forms of payment, we gladly accept your personal check, cash, and for sums up to $1,000 PayPal. But we are not set up to accept debit or credit cards. When they're charging $140 an hour and you can buy 100-hour blocks of prepaid labor, they should take any type of payment they can get. Says here, in addition to the cost of the merchant service contract required to accept the very few transactions we see in a month, the transaction fees, typically 3 to 5%, would have to be passed on to our clients at $140 per hour. Since most of our clients have saved in advance for these projects, they rarely need to finance them via credit cards anyway. Also, since long-term projects are usually funded via prepaid blocks of labor, we have little reason to be concerned about checks clearing before the vehicles leave. Cash is fine, but please have something close to the correct amount. PayPal is always a good fallback, but we will pass on their transaction fees. Usually 3% to you, at $140 an hour. When given estimates are based on experience with similar jobs on similar vehicles when possible. However, it is important to note that unlike new cars, it is virtually impossible to accurately estimate job labor requirements on classic cars. That's true. What that means is they will give you an estimate, but when you pick your car up, don't plan on it being the exact same estimate as it was when we started on it. It will be more money. Hindsight billing. I've never heard of hindsight billing. While we do specialize in classic automobiles, we do not specialize in a particular make or model. That means that we are continually encountering vehicles that we've not worked on ever in our life or before. And that often means that we'll experience a bit of learning curve as we charge you the labor hour rates that we charge. Okay, I'm reading that and that's explaining to me that if we don't know what your car is and actually how to work on it properly, we're going to use your car as a learning curve. And if it doesn't come out right, too bad. That's basically what they're saying. They're going to use your car as a guinea pig. It goes on to say that since flat rate labor manuals are useless when dealing with 30 to 60-year-old vehicles, we don't always have a definite means of gauging our performance on specific tasks in terms of labor hours expanded. In order to be fair to our clients, I hate when people use that word. My client. When I hear the word client, I think of a doctor's office or a lawyer's office. Mostly lawyer's office. And anybody that has any common sense, lawyers are thieves. Crooked, legalized thieves. That's what a lawyer is. The labor logs for every project are reviewed in detail so that instances where the time logged against a task seems excessive, they can be examined to determine if extra time was required because of issues outside of our control. Basically, they're saying, well, it should have only took us 6 hours, but it took us 15 hours because we found a rusty bolt that, we couldn't get off, and we had to heat it up, and poor fitting reached production parts. That's not our fault. You need to call Taiwan and complain to them, because, that's how we do it here. If it is due to a learning curve or other inefficiencies on parts unknown, in effect, such cases are reviewed from the hindsight perspective of, if we were to do this again with what we know now, how long would it take? And then adjust the labor's build as deemed to the next customer in line. Okay, so you're going to use my car to test your skills out on and to accurately document hour labors of what it takes to cut a patch panel out and put it on a rear quarter panel of a 67 Camaro. And if it takes 18 hours to do that on my car, I get charged 18 hours. But now that you know how to do it, on the next car, it's only going to take you 6 hours, and that guy only gets charged 6 hours. Hindsight billing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure thing, Bob. Sure thing. I'm going to go ahead and call Bob. I'm going to call this guy on the phone. I'm going to see if he's going to answer. We're going to have a little talk with him. And we're going to do that in this guy's style.
Bob's restaurant.
This is Bob.
Yes, this is Bob.
Speaking.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? Let me ask you a question. I got a 1956 Dodge Coronet.
Okay.
I'm thinking about getting that baby restored. Now, it does have it's got a Chrysler Poly in it, like the DeSoto's, and I'd like to get that thing restored. I got your number from a friend of mine. What are we looking at on a running car like that needs a restoration?
Restorations are typically starting, if you're talking about, full strip and paint, interior, engine bay, suspension, brakes, all the mechanical stuff. It usually starts around $60,000 or more. Depending on what the body is looking like.
I see. How much money do we got to have up front on that, Bob? How much money do we got to have?
What we typically do is we have clients buy blocks of labor, which is 100 hours worth of labor, and our current rate would... Pardon?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Our labor rate's $140 an hour, but if you buy a block of labor, which is 100 hours, we discount it to $130 an hour, so it's $13,000 to get started.
Oh my God!
No, it's not cheap.
Oh my
There's
God!
nothing cheap about this business.
This is a running, driving car. I just wanted to get a little restoration. I didn't know it was going to cost $60,000.
So you just said that you wanted it completely restored.
This is a running, driving car. I just wanted to get a little restoration. I didn't know it was going to cost $60,000. What are we looking at on a running car like that needs a restoration? How many jobs you got in front of me? Bob?
Pardon?
How many jobs you got up in front of me? Are you familiar with the 1956 Dodge Coronet?
I have never worked on one.
Oh my God. So you've never worked on one of these? You don't even know the car that we're talking about, and you're charging me $130 an hour, and I got to come up with $13,000 before I can bring my car to you?
Yeah, that's how the business works.
What do you mean business? I don't understand what you mean. You keep calling it a business. I'm calling it a job.
I'm in the business of restoring classic cars.
Okay.
I have a staff of people that restore classic cars. It's a business. That's how the business works. We take money from clients in the form of blocks of labor, and we work that labor off. And, we continue with that. With
How long, let me ask you this, how many weeks is $13,000 good for? How many weeks of labor?
Well, take 130 hours, divide that by 40 hours a week.
That sounds
We
like,
typically don't get 40 hours a week into
You are
an individual project in 1 week.
you're telling me that I'm paying you $140 an hour for 40 hours a week to work on my car, and you're saying it's going to take that many hours to restore this vehicle? Is that what you're saying, Bob?
Sir, I honestly have never restored a car, been able to restore a car, going through all the mechanicals, which we have to do in order to verify that it is roadworthy.
So that's a guarantee, that's a given right there. You've got to do that.
Right. We don't touch a car unless we start that at that point where we make it roadworthy. And,
But I just told
I've
you
had
that
couple
it's a running,
occasions-
driving car, Bob. I just said
What?
that. I just told you it's a running, driving car.
I can't tell you how many running, driving cars I've had come in here with the rubber and the suspension close to falling out, and in a couple of cases with the suspension being metal on metal.
Where are we
We
gonna get
inspect
all?
and make sure everything's good.
But where are we gonna get all the rubber for this thing, Bob?
I honestly don't know on that particular year and model car.
Oh,
I
my
haven't
God.
done one of those yet. They
What
are.
kind of cars are you restoring over there? Volkswagen Beetles? What? This said classic car restoration.
Yes, it does. And I worked on everything from the 38 Buick all the way up through 1980 model cars.
Then you should know what a
We don't see
1950s.
we don't see many Chrysler products. Actually, I've only seen a couple in the time that we've been here.
How long you been in
And,
business, Bob?
14 years and about 20 years as a hobby.
You've been in business, same location, 14 years, charging $140 an hour.
Yeah, we started at a lower price, but we found that we were undercharging. We had a consultant come out and show us what the rest of the industry was.
You paid a professional, hold on a minute, you paid a professional consultant to come to your shop and give you a verified situation that said this is what you need to be charging the public.
You know something? I really don't need a prospective client to tell me or.
But you don't understand, Bob, I'm not a client. I would be your customer unless you're my lawyer.
No, that's not the way it works. We treat people as though they're clients. It's an ongoing relationship.
To me, though,
that
clients-
lasts for years afterwards.
To me, client means lawyers.
Well, then you're kind of.
Are you LLC over there? Are you LLC?
I'm an S corp.
Are you LLC?
I just told you I'm an S corp.
An escort. What is escort, Bob?
It's a subcorporation, a limited number of ownership.
Let's see.
Subchapter S of the.
Do you have clients that I can call, or possibly clients that have vehicles that you restored that I can go visit and look at?
You know, I do, but I gotta tell you, given the attitude that you're giving me right now over the phone, you're not somebody I would work with.
Okay, hold on a minute. I'm giving you an attitude. I'm being very polite. I'm asking questions. I'm researching my situation. I'm planning on giving you $13,000 cash. $13,000. You don't even accept it. But you don't take credit cards, Bob.
That's right, we don't.
How many cars are you working on now, Bob? How many cars? If I gave you $13,000 and I bring my beautiful Dodge Coronet over there, how many cars are in front of me? How much space have you got over there for storage? While I'm waiting around.
I've got 11 cars in the shop right now. One the client had put on hold, and it's in a storage locker that he's paying for. And I've got 4 cars in the backlog. I have never, since weeks before I opened, I've never had a lack of clients. I've never been without a backlog.
So you're saying you got 11 cars there.
That's what clients.
You got 11 cars there. You're charging one guy storage fees. You got 4 of them out in the back 40 waiting to be built, and then you're telling me, hold on, can I talk, please, sir? I'm being polite.
No, I think we're done talking. It's obvious that you and I would not work well as a client and.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to say it one more time, sir. I am not your client.
Gentlemen, you aren't going to be.
Okay, you're damn right I'm not. Cause I'm not giving a stranger $13,000 to put my car on hold.
Bitch bastard, bitch bastard, bitch bastard, bitch bastard,
So the guy over at this place, he says he's got 11 cars there. Now, did you hear what he said? Now, he calls them clients. He doesn't have customers. He has clients. Because his relationship goes far and beyond, are you listening to what I'm saying? Far and beyond the restoration of the car. But yet, on the other hand, he's got 11 cars there. One of them is in a storage unit. The other 4 are out back waiting in line. And he's got $13,000 per car from all these people. Is that the kind of shop that you want to work with? Is that the kind of shop that calls you a client, that takes $13,000 from you before you can even drop the car off? Listen to me, people. Don't give any shop any money up front unless it's a small amount for paint supplies. Until you see work being performed and being done to that vehicle that you want to get restored, you ain't giving shit up. Especially to a guy named Bob that already has 11 cars, 1 in storage, 4 waiting in line, that have already given him money, and has never, ever laid his hands on a 1956 Dodge Coronet, but yet he restores classic cars. By the question that you heard, he doesn't want to deal with me. He doesn't want to deal with me because I already know his game. And that is the situation you have with these overpriced, oversized restoration shops that think they're better than you. Thank you very much. This has been a public service from my friend Pete to you.